I'm Leto Contos.
And I'm Pax Manos.
And welcome to Channel 5 Greek Gossip.
Up next, the Olympics, which is a newly introduced ring of sports, which includes running, boxing, and wrestling.
There are two types of wrestling, upright wrestling and ground wrestling. For upright wrestling, you've only won if the opponent has fallen 3 times. For ground wrestling, the whole body could be touching the ground, but you've only won if the opponent submitted by pointing up his index finger to the umpire. The place where you wrestle is called a palestra.
Okay. What do you most enjoy about wrestling?
You know, it's a great way to just let all my emotions out. I get to take on my opponent and just kind of give them the hurt. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's just something I do every day after school, every day, just part of my everyday life.
Really gets the stress out?
Yep.
Okay, and then how do you train for wrestling?
Well, we definitely, we'll go out in the fields and we'll beat each other up. We'll learn the basic techniques, the takedowns, and then we'll just fight. We'll be throwing fists, just on the ground, up on our feet. I don't know, just whatever we have to do to get the win.
Boxers bound leather around their knuckles to help when they fought. A match had no fixed duration, but ended when one of the fighters submitted. Despite these rules, boxers often got wounded and their faces were scarred by the sport. For this reason, the Greek considered boxing the most dangerous of the 3 combat sports.
How do you handle stress and pressure?
I have a little ritual I go through every day, I usually kind of go to my little jacuzzi I got in my house and stuff like that, and I just go relax. And I got my little sauna too, so just go there. Or I go to Lifetime, lift some weights, get some anger out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your greatest accomplishment in boxing?
Ooh, I think it was probably when I knocked out Mike Tyson in the 90s. Yeah, nobody knows about it. It was kind of like an amateur fight. It was before both of us were big. Well, he was big, but they didn't want to get out that an amateur just beat him. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of just kept it under the radar. So yeah, that's probably my biggest accomplishment. That and just being undefeated right now is great. I love it.
Humble brag.
Yeah, 1-0.
Running was the most important sport in the Olympics. They ran about 180 meters. They had to run to a pole and back because the stadium wasn't large enough. All of the runners had to run naked and barefoot, so there was less holding them back.
How long have you been running?
I've been running since I was 5 years old. I had to run away from all those crazy people attacking my family. They came at us with spears, so I just had to hit the dash on them real quick. And eventually it just led to me running the Olympics because I got really fast running from all those crazy people. So,
what is your personal goal in running?
Just to be the best that I can be. Beat out all my competition. And of course, win all those gold medals.
Next, Pax will be getting an exclusive video with Aristotle and his philosophy on life.
What is your philosophy on life?
Aristotelian.
What does that mean?
Ah, yes. You people have not been educated in the Aristotelian ways. Allow me. You are learning Aristotelian methods on life. And then you're all full of Aristotle. It's great. You should try it.
Okay, how do you feel training up the youth in Athens?
They don't know anything anymore. If only they were taught by the great Aristotle. Oh, then life would be awesome. But alas, they're not.
And how do you deal with people who oppose you in your methods?
I call down grizzly bears. The mama ones are the best. And then I teach them some stuff. Oh, hello, children. Running into any bears today? Good.
Are you tired of your children acting like lazy brats? Well, We have the solution for you. The government is officially taking children as young as 7 and training them to be mighty warriors you will be proud of.
Caution, death may occur. We are not responsible for any damage done in the next 7 years of your child's life. Children may not return home by any means necessary.
Letta will now be reciting an excerpt from one of the legend, Homer's poems.
Hateful to me as the gates of Hades is that man who hides one thing in his heart and speaks it.
Ancient Greece society placed heavy emphasis on literature, and according to many, the whole Western literary tradition began with the epic poems of Homer. These poems are usually considered the first surviving work of Western literature, and they remain giants in the literary world for their skillful and vivid depictions of war and peace, honor and disgrace, love and hatred. Some of the most famous arts, poetry, and literary figures are Homer, Hesiod, Aesop, Sappho, and Euripides.
This just in.
A new deadly disease called typhoid has broken out and is very deadly. It is transferred by food, water, and people.
Now, to continue our story on the Peloponnesian War.
If you missed us last time, we covered the disease typhoid, which has wiped out 1/3 of our men, but I am hopeful that we will still win. The Peloponnesian War was fought between the Greek city-states of Athens and Sparta. It lasted from 431 BC to 404 BC. However, the war was broken up between a few different parts. The first war lasted for 10 years, and during this time, the Spartans dominated the land and the Athenians dominated the sea. However, during this war, many people died in the city due to the plague. This then includes the Peace of Nicaea, which happened 10 years after the war in 421, which both Athens and Sparta agreed to a truce. However, in 415 BC, Athens decided to help one of their allies, which they sent a large force there to attack the city of Syracuse. This led to the Second Peloponnesian War, which Spartans retaliated harder than ever. And in the end, Athens was defeated by Sparta, bringing an end to the golden age of ancient Greece.
Sparta won.
What?
We lost. They're coming! They're coming! Get out! Run!